There is a discipline system so severe that once it takes hold, you no longer rely on strength. You become unbreakable. Miyamoto Musashi did not train to feel powerful. He trained to remove the possibility of collapse. In a world ruled by comfort, distraction, and endless choice, Musashi built a life with no exits, no negotiation, no emotional escape, no second path. Most people think being unbreakable means enduring more pain. Musashi understood something colder. You do not become unbreakable by resisting pressure. You become unbreakable by removing the parts of you that can be pressured. Fear does not break you. Doubt does not break you. Exhaustion does not break you. Indecision does. Musashi designed a discipline system where hesitation had nowhere to live, where the mind stopped arguing, where action occurred before thought could interfere. This was not motivation. It was not confidence. It was not belief. It was structure. And structure does not care how you feel. Musashi lived in isolation, hardship, and constant uncertainty, not because he enjoyed suffering, but because suffering exposed weakness quickly. Every weakness was removed, every excuse dismantled, until nothing remained that could bend. By the end of this video, you will understand how Musashi forged self-control so absolute that chaos could not reach him. You will see why modern discipline fails, and why Musashi's system still terrifies the ego centuries later. This is not a system for comfort. It is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to make you stable under any condition. If you are looking for motivation, stop here. If you are looking to become unbreakable, then we begin. Chapter 1. The Point of No Return. There is a moment in every life where weakness stops being accidental and becomes structural, not because of a single failure, but because of repetition. You promise change. You hesitate. You delay. You return to the same patterns. Eventually, your mind learns something dangerous, that your words mean nothing. Miyamoto Musashi understood this early, long before mastery, long before victory. He saw that the greatest enemy was not fear, pain, or even death. It was reversal, the ability to retreat once a path had been chosen. Most people believe freedom comes from having options. Musashi learned the opposite. Options create fracture. Fracture creates weakness. Every time you leave an escape route, your nervous system records it. You are teaching your body that pressure can be negotiated. And once the body learns that lesson, no amount of motivation can override it. This is where Musashi's discipline system begins. Not with effort, not with ambition, but with removal. He removed the option to quit. This was not symbolic. It was literal. When Musashi committed to a path, he designed his environment so that deviation became impractical. Isolation, poverty, monotony, these were not sacrifices. They were tools. Because discipline does not grow in comfort. It grows where choice collapses. Modern people attempt discipline while preserving comfort. They want control without consequence, strength without restriction, change without loss. Musashi would have considered this impossible. You cannot become unbreakable while keeping the structures that break you. Every habit you fail to keep is not a moral issue. It is an architectural one. Your life is built to allow collapse. Musashi rebuilt his. He understood that the mind does not obey ideals. It obeys conditions. So he changed the conditions. No distractions. No social reinforcement. No audience. When training began, there was nothing else to do. When fatigue arrived, there was nowhere to escape. This is the first principle of unbreakable discipline. Action must be easier than avoidance. Most people reverse this. They make discipline difficult and indulgence convenient. Then they blame themselves for lacking willpower. Musashi eliminated this contradiction. If training was scheduled, it happened. Not because he was strong, but because there was no alternative behavior available. This is what made his system cold. It did not care how he felt. Emotion was irrelevant. In fact, emotion was treated as noise. The modern obsession with motivation would have seemed childish to him. Motivation fluctuates. Structure does not. Musashi built structure so rigid that his internal state became irrelevant. Hunger did not change the schedule. Fear did not change the schedule. Doubt did not change the schedule. And over time, something irreversible occurred. His nervous system stopped asking questions. This is where most people misunderstand discipline. They believe discipline is about forcing yourself to do what you do not want to do. That is the beginner's phase. Musashi moved beyond it. He trained until the question of want disappeared entirely. The body learned compliance. The mind learned silence. This is the point of no return. Once you cross it, self-control stops feeling like restraint and starts feeling like gravity. You do not decide to follow gravity. You simply fall. This is why Musashi's discipline did not crack under pressure. Pressure reveals weakness only where choice still exists. Where there is no choice, there is no debate. This is why modern discipline collapses in crisis, because it was built on preference. Musashi built on inevitability. The first step toward becoming unbreakable is not intensity. It is closure. Closing exits. Closing negotiations. Closing internal loopholes. Ask yourself this with brutal honesty. Where in your life have you left a door open, just in case? That door is not safety. It is corrosion. Musashi would have sealed it. And once sealed, he would have waited. Not for results, not for validation, but for the old self to starve. Because transformation does not arrive dramatically. It arrives quietly, when the former version of you can no longer survive the environment you built. This is where the system truly begins. Not with strength, but with finality. In the next chapter, we will examine how Musashi eliminated hesitation itself and turned obedience into reflex. Once hesitation dies, nothing inside you can break. Chapter 2. The elimination of choice. Choice feels like freedom. Musashi understood it as weakness. Every choice introduces delay. Every delay opens a crack, and every crack becomes an excuse. Most people believe discipline fails because they are not strong enough. Musashi saw the opposite. Discipline fails because there are too many exits. When you wake up and ask yourself whether to train, you have already surrendered control. The mind is not designed to obey itself through debate. It is designed to follow structure. Musashi removed the debate. He did not wake up and decide how the day would unfold. The day had already been decided long before he opened his eyes. This is the core of his system. Eliminate choice at the behavioral level, not by force, by design. Modern discipline systems tell you to be strong. Musashi designed his life so strength was unnecessary. He understood a brutal truth. Willpower is unreliable under fatigue, hunger, emotion, and fear. Structure is not. So he built a life with no optional paths. Training happened at the same time. Practice followed the same order. Meals were simple. Movement was repeated. Monotony was not a flaw. It was the weapon. Repetition without variation removes the ego's voice. The ego thrives on novelty. It demands stimulation, recognition, and choice. Musashi starved it. When every day looks the same, the mind stops negotiating. It either adapts or collapses. This is why his discipline endured while others burned out. Most people try to fight temptation head-on. Musashi never allowed temptation into the room. He did not test himself. He removed the test. This is what made his discipline unbreakable. Choice is not neutral. Choice consumes energy. Every decision drains attention. Every internal debate creates friction. Musashi conserved energy by eliminating unnecessary decisions. This made him efficient, cold, consistent. People mistake this for rigidity. It is not rigidity. It is precision. A blade does not ask which direction to cut. It cuts where it is aimed. Musashi aimed his life. Most people live reactively. They respond to feelings, to circumstances, to distractions. Musashi lived proactively. His actions were decided in advance. This removed hesitation. Hesitation is where weakness enters. Hesitation creates time for fear, time for doubt, time for rationalization. Musashi understood that hesitation kills more potential than failure ever could. So he shortened the gap between intention and action to zero. Action followed immediately, not because he felt ready, but because readiness was irrelevant. This is the psychological shift most people never make. They wait to feel aligned. Musashi aligned his environment instead. When you eliminate choice, discipline stops being personal. It becomes mechanical. And mechanical systems do not argue. They execute. This is why Musashi could train when injured, practice when bored, continue when uninspired. Emotion was not consulted. Emotion had no vote. This is uncomfortable for modern minds. We are taught that choice equals freedom. Musashi showed that too much choice equals paralysis. Freedom comes from constraint. When the path is narrow, movement becomes fast. When the rules are strict, action becomes effortless. This is why his system scales under pressure. Under stress, most people collapse because they rely on decision-making. Musashi removed decision-making from critical moments. He trained until behavior was automatic. This is the same principle modern neuroscience confirms. Under threat, the brain defaults to habit. Musashi made sure his habits were lethal in their consistency. He did not rely on conscious control. He trained the subconscious. This is where unbreakability is formed. Not in moments of inspiration, but in days that feel empty. Musashi embraced emptiness. Empty days are where structure is tested. Anyone can be disciplined during excitement. Very few remain disciplined in boredom. Musashi lived in boredom by choice. He sharpened himself there. This is why his discipline did not erode over time. It had no emotional dependency. It did not require meaning every day, only obedience. This chapter carries a warning. If you still need to choose, you are not yet disciplined. You are negotiating. Negotiation always ends in compromise. Musashi accepted no compromise. He designed his life so that the correct action was the only action available. This is not extreme. It is inevitable. And inevitability is the foundation of true self-control. In the next chapter, we move deeper from eliminating choice to establishing inner command, where action no longer feels imposed. It feels unavoidable. Chapter 3, Dominance over Impulse. Choice is where weakness hides. Most people believe freedom comes from having options. Musashi understood the opposite. Options fracture the mind. They invite delay. They create negotiation. Every choice creates a second voice. And the second voice is where discipline dies. Musashi did not try to become stronger than temptation. He removed the environment where temptation could speak. This is the core of his discipline system. Not resistance. Removal. When Musashi chose a path, he destroyed the alternatives. Not symbolically, practically. If he decided to train, there was no question of when. If he decided to endure, there was no debate about how long. If he decided to walk a certain way, there was no thought of turning back. This was not stubbornness. It was structural design. Modern people wake up and ask themselves how they feel. Musashi woke up and obeyed the path already chosen. That difference changes everything. Choice feels empowering in the moment, but over time, it corrodes resolve. Each option demands evaluation. Each evaluation consumes energy. Each delay weakens execution. By the time action arrives, the mind is already exhausted. Musashi saw this clearly, so he lived without internal voting. Once a decision was made, it became law. No revisiting. No justification. No regret. This is why his discipline did not fluctuate. Fluctuation requires options. Remove options and behavior stabilizes. This principle feels extreme because it attacks a modern illusion. We believe we need flexibility to survive. Musashi proved we need certainty. Certainty produces calm. When there is no decision to make, the nervous system settles. The body moves cleanly. The mind becomes silent. This is why his actions appeared effortless. Effort comes from indecision. People who seem disciplined are often just people with fewer choices. Musashi engineered his life to make disobedience inconvenient. He wore simple clothing, ate simple food, lived in isolation, not for ascetic pride, but to reduce internal noise. Every removed option was one less mental fracture. Most people try to add discipline on top of chaos. Musashi removed chaos first. This is the mistake that breaks most modern systems. They teach you to try harder. Musashi taught you to make trying unnecessary. If your phone is always near you, you will eventually touch it. If comfort is always available, you will eventually choose it. If escape is visible, discipline weakens. Musashi closed doors behind himself. Not metaphorically, physically. When he entered training, there was no entertainment nearby. When he walked into solitude, there was no social relief. When he committed to a path, there was no backup identity. This created psychological pressure. But pressure is not the enemy. Pressure forges alignment. Most people collapse under pressure because their lives are built on choice. Remove choice, and pressure becomes guidance. This is why Musashi's discipline felt merciless. It was not cruel. It was clean. Clean systems produce clean outcomes. You either act or you don't. No self-deception. No narrative. No excuses disguised as flexibility. Musashi did not trust future motivation. He trusted present structure. This is the lesson most people refuse to learn. Motivation is volatile. Structure is stable. You cannot rely on emotions to govern behavior, but you can rely on architecture. Musashi designed his days like a fortress. Simple, predictable, unavoidable. When training time arrived, there was nothing else to do. Not because he was strong, because the environment made weakness impractical. This is how discipline becomes unbreakable, not through heroic willpower, but through the quiet removal of alternatives. Ask yourself this without emotion. Where in your life do you still keep escape routes? Where do you tell yourself, just in case? Those are not safety nets. They are leaks. Musashi sealed every leak. And once sealed, effort dropped to zero. Action became automatic. This is the third pillar of becoming unbreakable. Do not fight yourself. Out-design yourself. In the next chapter, we will go colder still. Because once choice is removed, the next enemy is force. And Musashi never relied on force. He relied on precision. Chapter 4, Precision over Force. Force is loud. Precision is silent. Most people mistake intensity for strength. They push harder. They strain more. They burn themselves out and call it discipline. Musashi rejected this entirely. He understood that force decays. Precision compounds. A strike powered by rage is unstable. A strike guided by clarity is inevitable. This chapter is where discipline becomes surgical. Musashi did not train to overpower opponents. He trained to remove unnecessary movement. Every excess motion was weakness. Every wasted thought was leakage. He observed that most failure does not come from lack of effort, but from misdirected effort. People swing wildly at life. They exhaust themselves. They miss. Musashi refined. He reduced his actions until only what mattered remained. This is why his discipline looked calm even in combat. Nothing was rushed. Nothing was dramatic. Every movement had purpose. Precision begins with restraint. Most people act too much. They talk too much. They plan too much. Musashi removed noise before adding skill. He trained fewer techniques, but executed them perfectly. He chose fewer goals, but pursued them completely. He made fewer decisions, but followed them absolutely. This is where modern discipline collapses. Too many inputs, too many options, too many directions. Precision cannot exist in chaos. So Musashi simplified. He ate simply. He lived simply. He trained simply. Not because simplicity is virtuous, but because complexity breeds hesitation. Hesitation destroys timing. Timing is everything. A perfect strike delivered late fails. An imperfect strike delivered at the right moment succeeds. Musashi trained timing, not force. In discipline, timing means knowing when to act and when not to. Most people overcorrect. They respond emotionally. They react impulsively. Musashi waited. Waiting is not passivity. It is control. He allowed situations to reveal themselves fully before intervening. This required a mind unclouded by urgency. Urgency is the enemy of precision. People rush because they fear losing time. Musashi knew that rushing wastes it. He trained his nervous system to remain still under pressure. Stillness sharpens perception. When the body is calm, the eyes see more. When the mind is quiet, patterns emerge. This is why precision cannot be rushed into existence. It is cultivated through patience. In discipline, this means fewer habits done perfectly, instead of many habits done inconsistently. 1 hour done every day is superior to 5 hours done once a week. Musashi understood rhythm. He did not spike effort. He maintained baseline execution. Baseline beats bursts. Force requires recovery. Precision requires maintenance. This is why Musashi could endure endlessly. He never emptied himself. He conserved energy not for comfort, but for accuracy. Accuracy wins. In your own life, force looks like obsession. Precision looks like inevitability. Force shouts, "I must change now." Precision whispers, "This will happen." Musashi designed his discipline so it could survive boredom. Boredom is the ultimate test. Anyone can act when inspired. Few can act when nothing feels urgent. Precision thrives in boredom because boredom removes ego. When nothing feels exciting, only structure remains. Musashi welcomed this state. He repeated movements until they felt empty. And in that emptiness, execution became flawless. This is why true mastery feels dull from the inside. There is no adrenaline, only correctness. This chapter marks a turning point. Up to now, discipline was about removal. Removal of choice. Removal of identity. Now it becomes refinement. Every action must justify its existence. If it does not serve the path, it is cut. Precision does not tolerate clutter. Not in movement. Not in thought. Not in life. This is why Musashi's discipline created an unbreakable core. There was nothing excess to attack. Nothing wasted to exploit. In the next chapter, we move deeper. Beyond behavior. Beyond habit. Into the depth of identity itself. Where even precision becomes impersonal. Where the self dissolves. And only function remains. Chapter 5. The Death of Identity. Discipline does not fail because people are weak. It fails because identity resists death. Most people believe they are trying to build something. A stronger self. A better version. A disciplined identity. Musashi understood the opposite. Nothing new is built until something old is destroyed. The greatest obstacle to discipline is not laziness, fear, or temptation. It is the self-image you are protecting. The part of you that says, "This is who I am. This is how I function. This is my nature." Identity is a prison disguised as familiarity. Musashi did not attempt to improve himself. He dismantled himself. He stripped away every label that created negotiation. Talented, lazy, emotional, unmotivated, ambitious, tired. All of it was noise. Identity creates exceptions, and exceptions are how discipline dies. When you say, "I am disciplined," you also say, "Sometimes I am not." Musashi eliminated the category entirely. There was no him to defend. Only behavior, only action, only the path. This is why his discipline did not fracture under stress. There was no ego to protect. Modern people collapse under pressure because pressure threatens identity. Failure feels personal. Discomfort feels insulting. Monotony feels beneath them. Musashi removed the concept of beneath. There was no hierarchy of tasks, only what must be done. The death of identity is not dramatic. It is quiet. It feels like boredom at first, then emptiness, then clarity. When identity dissolves, excuses lose their language. You no longer say, "I don't feel like it. I'm not that kind of person. This isn't aligned with me." Alignment disappears. There is only compliance. This is where most people stop. They mistake the loss of identity for loss of meaning. Musashi knew better. Meaning does not come from identity. It comes from order. When your life is structured correctly, meaning emerges as a byproduct, not as a goal. This is why people who chase purpose remain unstable. They are still trying to feel something. Musashi was not interested in feeling complete. He was interested in being unbreakable. Identity creates fragility. When you identify as strong, you fear weakness. When you identify as disciplined, you fear failure. When you identify as intelligent, you fear ignorance. Fear creates hesitation. Hesitation breaks discipline. So Musashi killed the source. He trained without narrative. No story of progress. No self-congratulation. No self-criticism. Just repetition. Day after day. Without interpretation. This is what makes his system unbearable to most people. They want recognition from themselves. They want to feel disciplined. Musashi did not care how it felt. Feeling is irrelevant. The death of identity produces something unsettling. Freedom. Not emotional freedom. Operational freedom. When there is no identity to preserve, you can do what must be done without resistance. Embarrassment disappears. Fear of judgment dissolves. Comparison becomes meaningless. Who would you be comparing? The disciplined man is not proud. Pride requires identity. He is neutral. Neutrality is powerful. It allows consistency without drama. This is why Musashi could endure isolation without psychological collapse. Loneliness attacks identity. Remove identity and loneliness loses its target. This chapter represents a point of no return. Once identity dissolves, you cannot go back to motivational discipline. You can no longer lie to yourself. You can no longer perform improvement. You either act or you don't. And when you don't, there is no story to soften it. This level of honesty is brutal, but it is clean. Musashi accepted this cleanliness. He chose clarity over comfort. This is the stage where discipline becomes impersonal. You do not discipline yourself. Discipline happens through you. This is why most people unconsciously resist this phase. They sense what must die, their stories, their excuses, their self-image, and they retreat. Musashi did not retreat. He let the old self decay. In the next chapter, we will cross the final threshold, where discipline is no longer enforced, identity is no longer present, and control becomes law, not something you practice, something you cannot violate. Chapter 6, The Law of Inevitability. At this stage, discipline no longer feels like effort. It feels like gravity. You do not resist gravity. You do not negotiate with it. You do not wake up asking whether it will function today. It simply operates. Miyamoto Musashi did not aim to become disciplined. That goal is too weak. He aimed to make discipline unavoidable. This is the distinction most people never understand. They build systems that require participation. Musashi built systems that remove choice. Choice is the enemy of permanence. Every time you decide, you expose yourself to hesitation. Every time you hesitate, you leak energy. Every time you leak energy, decay begins. Musashi eliminated decay by eliminating options. By this phase of his training, there was no internal dialogue, no inner debate, no emotional check-in. Action followed structure automatically. This is what it means to live under law. Not rules written on paper, not promises spoken aloud, but law embedded in behavior. The body moved before the mind could interfere. Modern people fear this idea. They associate inevitability with loss of freedom. Musashi understood the opposite. True freedom only exists when the self no longer sabotages itself. As long as you must convince yourself to act, you are enslaved by indecision. The disciplined man is not controlled by rules. He is released from internal chaos. Musashi reached a point where disobedience felt unnatural. Not wrong, unnatural, like trying to breathe underwater. This is not achieved through intensity. Intensity burns out. It is achieved through repetition without exception. The same wake-up time, the same training blocks, the same solitude, the same standard, day after day, month after month, year after year, until behavior solidifies into law. Most people stop when discipline still feels heavy. Musashi continued until weight disappeared. This is the price of inevitability. You must pass through boredom, through invisibility, through long periods where nothing feels dramatic. This is where most abandon the path. They mistake silence for stagnation. Musashi recognized silence as alignment. When there is no noise inside you, power accumulates. This chapter marks the death of motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It fluctuates with mood and reward. Musashi had no use for it. He designed his life so that even on days of exhaustion, action occurred. Not because he was strong, but because strength was no longer required. The structure carried him. This is what modern systems lack. They demand constant input. Musashi's demanded nothing. Once established, they ran themselves. This is why his discipline survived hunger, isolation, and fatigue. Emotion collapses under stress. Law does not. At this level, even suffering changes. Pain is no longer an obstacle. It becomes information. If something hurts, you adjust posture, not attitude. If something fails, you refine structure, not self-esteem. Everything becomes mechanical. This is the final refinement before the unbreakable state. You are no longer becoming disciplined. You are governed. And governance removes vulnerability. No one can tempt you with comfort when comfort has no authority. No one can threaten you with hardship when hardship is already accepted. This is why Musashi was dangerous even in stillness, because inevitability cannot be shaken. If you have reached this point in your own discipline, understand this. You will feel less emotional, not more. Less expressive, not louder. Less reactive, not energized. This is not decay. It is stabilization. The storm has passed. The structure remains. In the final chapter, we will seal this state completely. Not as a peak, not as a revelation, but as a condition you never exit. The unbreakable state, where nothing inside you argues, and nothing outside you controls you. Chapter 7, The Unbreakable State. There is a final stage Musashi reached where discipline no longer felt sharp. It felt silent. No tension. No internal pressure. No sense of effort being applied. Only a state that could not be disturbed. This is the unbreakable state. Most people imagine unbreakable means aggressive, dominant, constantly exerting force. Musashi understood the opposite. What breaks is what resists. What endures is what has already surrendered to law. By the time Musashi reached this state, there was no part of him left that negotiated with reality. Events happened. He responded, without delay, without emotional commentary. This is the end result of true discipline. Not control through force, but absence of internal fracture. Earlier, discipline felt heavy. Then it felt neutral. Now it feels invisible. At this level, you do not feel disciplined. You feel aligned. Alignment is what makes something unbreakable. A sword shatters when its structure is flawed. A mountain does not crack when struck by wind. Musashi became structural. He no longer thought in terms of success or failure. Those concepts belonged to the ego he had already dissolved. He thought only in terms of execution and presence. This is why his opponents felt something unsettling long before blades crossed. They sensed no hesitation. Hesitation is where humans reveal themselves. Musashi had none, not because he suppressed fear, but because fear had nothing to attach to. Fear requires a future self to protect. Musashi lived only in the current action. This is what makes someone unbreakable. Not courage, not confidence, but total absence of internal conflict. Most people break not because the world is harsh, but because they argue with it. They wish things were different. They resent pressure. They resist pain. Resistance fractures structure. Musashi accepted reality without commentary. Cold, neutral, exact. When hunger came, he ate what was available. When exhaustion came, he continued. When death came, he faced it without emotional distortion. This does not make someone cruel. It makes them precise. By this stage, Musashi no longer felt like a person trying to improve himself. Improvement implies dissatisfaction. He had moved beyond that. He existed as a process. Wake, train, observe, act, rest. No identity layered on top. This is why nothing could destabilize him. Insults failed. Praise failed. Victory failed. Defeat failed. Nothing could inflate or diminish him. This is what people mean when they speak of inner peace, but they misunderstand it. Peace is not comfort. Peace is absence of internal noise. Musashi achieved this not by escaping hardship, but by removing the part of himself that demanded comfort. At this point, discipline no longer protected him from weakness. Weakness had already been dismantled. There was no self left that could betray him. This is the final truth most people never hear. You are breakable because you are divided. One part wants growth. Another wants ease. One part wants discipline. Another wants relief. Musashi unified himself through law. One direction. One path. No alternatives. This is why modern people feel fragile. They are filled with options. Options create instability. Musashi eliminated choice until only action remained. And action, when repeated long enough, becomes identityless. This is the unbreakable state. Not dramatic, not loud, not heroic, quiet, reliable, unmoving. If you choose this path, understand the cost. You will lose the version of yourself that seeks validation. You will lose excuses. You will lose the comfort of blaming circumstances. But you will gain something rare, a state where nothing inside you collapses under pressure, where discipline does not depend on mood, where control does not require effort, where identity no longer interferes with action. Musashi did not become unbreakable by hardening himself. He became unbreakable by removing everything that could break. This is the end of the system, not a technique to try, not a phase to enter, a final condition. And once reached, there is no return, only continuation. What you have just heard is not a story. It is not philosophy meant to be admired. It is not motivation meant to fade. It is a structure. Miyamoto Musashi's discipline system does not ask who you are. It does not care what you feel. It does not wait for readiness. It simply removes the conditions that make you break. Most people spend their lives searching for strength. Musashi understood strength is not found. It is built by subtraction. When excuses are removed, action remains. When identity is stripped away, function remains. When choice disappears, consistency remains. Unbreakable does not mean invincible. It means there is nothing left inside you that can collapse. No internal argument. No emotional bargaining. No escape routes hidden behind good intentions. Only law, only path, only execution. If you apply this system, nothing dramatic will happen at first. No surge of confidence, no feeling of transformation. That is how you know it is working. Real change is quiet. It does not announce itself. It tightens slowly, like stone forming under pressure. One day, without realizing when, you will notice something missing. The hesitation, the negotiation, the urge to quit, gone. And in its place, a calm inevitability. You will not feel powerful. Others will see it. This is the Musashi discipline. No choice, no identity, no return. If you are willing to walk this path, then walk it fully. If not, close this video and forget it, because halfway discipline is the most fragile state of all. Until the next video.